Gaming is about escaping into another world. You don't control the character, you are the character.
Whether I'm hunting fearsome monsters or growing the best crops, gaming is how I like to relax.
I like gaming because I can go you know?
They help me escape into a world of pure imagination. Video games. What more could you ask for? Endless possibilities.
Welcome back to the Off Hunting Podcast, gamers. I'm KB, and I'm with...
Diggs Gaming.
And today we will be talking about the Entertainment Software Rating Board, aka the ESRB. But first we have some exciting news from Insomniac and the Resident Evil team.
And before we get into that, I have some personal news that I want to share.
Okay.
I am now a contributor for the website Sports Rants. This is a big opportunity for me. For those that know me, I love sports. It's my first love. Yeah, I love gaming, but sports has been in my life for a long time. And this is just terrific for me. I get to continue my journalism career, my sports journalism career. And I really hope this leads to big things for me. Now, nobody worry. This podcast is still very important to me. And I'm going to make sure that I am still a part of it. So for those of you that like hearing my annoying voice.
Oh, it's
don't
not
worry.
annoying.
Aw, thank you, KB.
You're welcome.
Also, Sir Melios going to join us later. And Jojo and Paul are out for today. But this
Paul
is still
is
going to
out
be
for an unknown amount of time.
Yeah. We'll let you know when we finally get Paul on this show. But Sir Melios will be here. And Jojo's got some personal stuff that just couldn't be avoided. All right, gamers, let's get into this Insomniac thing that's been going on for the past few weeks. So Insomniac released this picture on Twitter along with what is your favorite Spyro game. And gamers have been going nuts trying to figure out what it all means. And to add fuel to the fire, Canadian guy A tweeted, "Don't overthink it, don't overthink it." And this
We're overthinking
store replied with 2 dragon emojis. And for those that don't know, this is an online store that sells Activision products. And as we all know, Spyro is now owned by Activision. Well, there's a Spyro page right to it. And it used to be nothing. There was nothing on there until there was this shirt on there that had this binary code on it. And somebody had translated the binary code that said coming soon 2020 ? So now gamers are trying to figure out, wait a minute, are we going to get an announcement for Spyro soon? And if we do, I mean, everybody's going to go crazy. I'm going to go crazy. I know Canadian guy A is going to go crazy. You're going to have Dude, Cat Icarus going to go crazy. KB's going to go crazy. People have been waiting for a new Spyro game ever since, I don't even know how long. Ever since we haven't gotten a new Spyro game.
Well, I got excited after they did the Reignited trilogy because I feel like that's going to be the perfect time. Get everybody, give it a brand new coat of paint, get everybody back into it, and then release the next game. That'd be nice.
Yeah, and what's interesting
it means
is
I now need to beat the game.
And what's going to be interesting is who's going to develop this game, because Toys for Bob just released Crash 4. Vicarious Visions is now with Blizzard and working on the Diablo 2 remake. There's a lot of talk that Beanox might be the one making the game. So it's going to be really interesting to find out when we make this game. And one more thing with the Insomniac image that has everybody interested. It's from Colossus in the second game. And you can tell that because there's something at the bottom right corner that has the statues that pretty much you have to get the evil spirit out. And it says 7 out of 10. And people think that that's a date. Like it's either July 10th or October 7th. They're thinking that can either be a release date or a reveal date. People are really trying
that might be overthinking.
Yeah, that might be overthinking, but that's just what gamers do, and that's what people like Canadian
guy. It's why people like the game theory. It's a great show. Matt Pat's always constantly just digging in.
Yeah. So we might be getting a Spyro reveal soon. We might be getting it at E3, and Activision might be at E3. So buckle up, people. We may be getting Spyro content coming real soon. We're going to be moving from a former PlayStation mascot to PlayStation itself. Kimmy and I were just talking about this. Now, a while back, PlayStation had announced that they were going to remove the PS3, PSP, and the PS Vita store. And that made Sony fans go insane, and for good reason, because you lose a lot of games that way. I mean, the PS3 had some great games, and you basically are going to lose them. Now, if you already bought them, you still had them, but for those players that didn't have the games, that didn't bought them, they were out of luck. You would have to buy a physical copy of the game and still have your PS3. But then a few days after everything was taken down, it was brought back, and Sony, Jim Ryan, said that he is taking full responsibility for that and that he thanked gamers for the response, and that's why they brought it back. And it just made me think, is Sony finally listening to what we want? I surely hope so. I really do.
It looks like it. I mean, at least they brought it back and was like, oh well, it's gone now. Too bad, so sad.
Yeah, and you have Jim Ryan taking full responsibility for that, which I think just adds something to it. It's not, well, it's not my fault. No, he took full responsibility for that. And I like that. And again, I'm really hoping they're starting to listen to what fans want, because fans have been waiting for Sony to do something, just something to help them out. I mean, one thing that's really got Sony falling behind on Xbox is just their older IPs and their older games. I mean, they're basically abandoning their older games, and that's not something that you want to do because you still have big fans of those games. I mean, we're talking Sly, we're talking Jack, Ape Escape, and so many others that fans still love to this day and that would like another game. I mean, could you imagine a new Ape Escape game on the PlayStation 5 with everything you can do with the DualSense controller?
I've never played Ape Escape.
Neither have I, but I just know.
I've never heard of it until you even brought it up. I'll be honest. I didn't know it was a thing.
Oh my God. Oh my
That's
God.
my bad.
It was one of the most innovative games in the PlayStation 1 era because you needed a DualShock to play it. You could not play with a regular old PlayStation controller. You needed the DualShock because that's just how the controls worked. You got to look that up. I did not know that. I thought, as much of a PlayStation fan, I thought you would have at least heard of Ape Escape.
I mean, I am a huge PlayStation fan, but also I'm not like big into like keeping up with news just in general. Like if I hear about it, I hear about it.
Yeah, so Sony, please continue listening to your fans before you start losing them to Xbox and Nintendo, because that is going to happen. The biggest mistake that a gaming company can do is when they start to lose trust in their gamers. That's why Atari is no longer making a console. That's why Sega's no longer making consoles. That's why so many developers and publishers are gone, because they stopped trusting them. And let's just hope that Sony realizes that before it's too late, which I think they will, but they got to figure it out sooner or later. Okay, Sir Meliodas has just joined us. Now let's get into this Resident Evil news. This Resident Evil showcase, there's a lot to break down. KB, what do you want to start off with?
Let's talk about the VR port. It is for Resident Evil 4 for the Oculus, I believe.
If we're wrong about that, correct us in the comments. Correct us in the comments if we're wrong.
Definitely. Is this the first Resident Evil game coming to VR, or have there been previous?
I'm not sure about that.
They did RE7 as VR.
I think he's right about that. I think he's right. So,
all right. So not the first one, but
this is going to be interesting. I want to see
I don't know
how they pull this
gonna.
off.
Yeah, because RE7 is first person, and RE4 is third person. So how is that going to work?
They have said that it is going to be a first-person game. They're going to change the angles on it. So they're not. It's not going to be you in 3D or third person.
The beauty of RE4 is that it was the first RE game to have that over-the-shoulder perspective.
It revolutionized third-person shooters when you think about it, because a lot of games copied it, and now you're going to a first-person view. It's really going to weird some gamers out. But again, VR is a very niche thing, and the gamers that are into VR know that most likely it is a first-person experience, so that does help them a little bit, but it's going to be very weird for those Resident Evil fans that want to check it out and that do like VR games. My bad.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting, and I want to see how this works out. Now, I'm not a VR guy. I've never played a VR game, but I do want to read about how this goes. I do want to hear from other gamers how this goes.
Yeah, it'll definitely be fun. So the anime series, RE Infinite Darkness, should be coming to Netflix in 2021.
I believe it's July. I believe that's what they said.
Yes. Yes.
You
Oh
know
my
the
God.
beauty about that?
Huh? What'd you say?
The beauty about that is it's taking place after Resident Evil 4.
2 years
Right.
after. And are we not going to talk about how the animation looks like a Resident Evil cutscene? Are we not going to talk about that? I mean,
It looks great.
that's just attention to detail right there. Leon and
Mhm.
Claire look like Leon and Claire aged up a little bit from Resident Evil. That is just amazing. They really are working hard on this. They really put a lot of time and energy and a lot of oh god, I can't think of the word. But they really look
Yeah.
like they did a great job with this, and I can't wait to see the final product.
Definitely. In related news, almost kind of, the movie is ever closer upon us. They've said that they have
cannot
finished
wait.
filming, and they're now on to the CGI of the monsters
That's
in the
big.
game.
That's
in the
big, and
movie.
we're gonna get a trailer. That means we're gonna get a trailer real soon. We're probably gonna
Yes,
get it
definitely.
within the next few months. So that's something to get excited about. Now, as long as it's better than the series
last
of
one?
movies that we got from Paul W. Anderson, then they're doing something right. And
Mhm.
lately
To-
we've seen
to
a
be
better.
fair, the first two movies were actually watchable.
That's
from
true.
him.
That's true. That is true. But the rest of the movies were just terrible.
Yeah.
I don't know.
As
who
I've
knew.
heard.
Yeah, and this is what's interesting. We're starting to see video game movies do better with critics. I mean, we saw that
Yeah.
with
Slowly
Sonic the
but
Hedgehog, Detective Pikachu, and now the recent Mortal Kombat movie have not been terribly
Ooh.
reviewed by critics.
Okay.
I said critics. I said critics.
Okay, I'm about to say because that Mortal Kombat.
Critics and fans are not the same.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Fans are what matter. But I'm just
Mhm.
saying, we're starting to see critics kind of lighten up to video game movies. Yeah, I know some people do not like the new Mortal Kombat movie, but I will say critics are not totally hating it. And that's all I'm going to say. Moving on.
Right. Moving along, with the new Resident Evil 8, they are bringing back the arcade-like mercenary game mode. It is going to be released with the game, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly,
Mm-hmm.
and with some brand new upgrades in which you can go to a shop and upgrade your weapons. Aha! And
That-
upgrade abilities.
That
And that kind
is going to be a lot of fun for those
It
for the people that
it
like.
sounds good.
Yeah.
Especially because I know
Not
most
only-
Resident Evil games are fairly slow paced, so having the option to go into like this very fast paced mode is a nice mix up.
You were going to say something, Sir Meliodas?
They're bringing out a Resident Evil. I think it's a versus game. It's called Resident Evil RE Verse. So that'll be I don't know when that's coming out. I tried to play the beta, but it was under maintenance.
I think they
It's
released the
called-
beta for that, and the full one's going to be released, I think, sometime this year, but I can't remember. But I know the beta
I'm
was
not-
released.
I couldn't play it because it was under maintenance, and then they wanted me to sign up for some emails. I believe that's supposed to be like a versus game. Am I
Yeah.
correct.
Yeah, they got into that too during the showcase. So, I mean, a lot of news came out of this, and
Mhm.
one more minor thing, kind of minor, that we should talk about is the Dead by Daylight thing with Resident Evil coming to Dead by Daylight. Sir Meliodas, you know more about this than we do. You want to give us your thoughts?
First, Dead by Daylight. I never played it, but it's like Friday the 13th. If you haven't played the Friday the 13th game, you run from the killer,
Mhm.
you escape if you can. But the thing is, they have Ash from the Evil Dead all the way up to Freddy Krueger. So them adding potentially So I think the killer will be if they don't do this, then they drop the ball. The killer should be Nemesis.
Oh,
Have
totally
them-
agree. Totally agree.
Yeah, to have them being stalked by Nemesis, and then have a Jill and Chris skin or Claire and Leon skin in there.
Or all four
But-
of them.
All four, because they put Bill in there from Left 4 Dead 2. So
Hmm.
that's just saying. But I believe it'll be a good addition to the Dead by Daylight series, because they have up to, like I said, Ash from Evil Dead, up to Freddy Krueger, to Leatherface, to Michael Myers in there. So it'd be a good addition on that.
Pretty much every single horror icon is what you're saying.
Mhm. Besides Jason, because something's going on with the rights with him right now. So the rights with Jason is in limbo at the moment.
It's always the case. It's always the case. Okay, let's get into the really big thing. The first thing that was shown from this, the game
trailer.
itself, the Resident Evil Village game. Who wants to start this off?
So first of all, PlayStation 4 and 5 are going to get the demo first. You can already download the demo in preparation. You'll be getting an hour to play
Is the
in the
demo still
village
out?
and the castle. Huh?
'Cause I heard the demo was only limited time, unless they're doing a second demo.
It is. It's a second demo.
Okay.
It's coming in May, I believe, like very early May, like May 4th or something.
Gotcha.
And I know,
Something like that. I think maybe a little earlier than that.
yeah, like May 1st through May 4th ish in general. I forgot. I should have written it down, but I forgot.
Hey, I
It's
didn't write
for-
anything down, so you were better than me.
So you can do it on PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, Xbox Series S, Steam, and one of the other.
The Nintendo
Stadia.
Switch.
Was it Stadia?
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe it's Stadia.
So, and you can play for an hour across each console or area, basically. So you could have up to 4 hours of gameplay if you have all four.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's
Sounds
a great
like-
idea. I think it's a great idea that they're doing this.
And on top of that, you can stream the demo. So, and they're actively encouraging people to stream the demo, so as many people can see this new village as possible.
And what's great about that is you get a feedback. They get feedback and they can tweak little things that fans think should be fixed. And that's just going to make the game even
Mhm.
better. So they're taking
Yes.
advantage of this. This is how you take advantage of what's going on right now with all these YouTubers, with all these Twitch players, with all these people that like to stream, and all these people that want to see their games the best they can be. That's how you take advantage of that. And Capcom is just doing a great job with that. I mean,
It's
that's just a
definitely a
fantastic
great
idea.
move.
Yeah, some problems could go wrong, but for the most part, this is a great idea.
Mhm.
And I think it's just going to make Resident Evil Village even better for those that
Definitely.
love the Resident Evil series and that want this game to be one of the best, maybe the best Resident Evil game. I think it's definitely on its way because, oh my God, this looks like the ultimate Resident Evil game. It really does.
I might actually have to pick this one up. I'm not a huge survival horror fan. I'm not a huge horror fan in general, but this
Oh,
one
yeah,
is
same here.
definitely. This might tip the scales. I might have to pick this one up.
I'm gonna be passing on it. I love Resident Evil, but to me,
Meliodas.
RE games to me are not first person games. I can't do a first person Resident Evil.
The
sorry.
betrayal.
I haven't
Okay,
played.
okay,
I
okay.
haven't played 7
Okay.
because it's first
I got
person.
okay. Okay, one last thing, and then let's move
Mhm.
on to the topic. And the one last thing is, what do you guys think is going on with Chris Redfield? What do you guys think is going on? That's a big mystery, and I wish I could figure it out, but
Something-
I can't.
Is going on with Chris Redfield, because from what I've seen in RE7, he was partnered with Umbrella, and Chris does not like Umbrella, so I have no idea what's going on.
Has he turned into a villain now? Have we seen one of the classic heroes from the Resident Evil series turn into a villain?
I don't know who you're talking about because I've never played a Resi game.
One of the protagonists from the first game, Chris Redfield, who was also the protagonist in the 5th game and one of the
Okay.
protagonists in the 6th game.
Okay.
He could be infected with something. I don't want to spoil anything if he is.
I mean, is the thing for Resident Evil is zombie virus,
Yeah, he
umbrella
could-
bad, inject people,
Yeah,
human
he could be
experiments.
infected
Pretty
with
much.
something because the way he's acting is not Chris Redfield. So
He could be a clone.
that too.
I mean, it could
I'm
be
calling it,
literally
you heard it here
anything,
last.
or it could just be him being a double agent.
Could be.
I mean,
We'll find
literally
out.
anything could be going on with Chris Redfield, and that's just part of the
I will
mystery of this game.
say that I'm excited to see more monster types because I know Resident Evil is a very zombie focused game,
Mhm.
and now it looks like they might be bringing vampires, witches, possibly sea monsters, and werewolves to this.
They had a sea monster in Resident Evil 4.
It looks like this might be playing a bit of a large role, if I'm remembering the trailer correctly.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
it'll be interesting. It'll be fun. All right. Main chunk of the story, ESRB. So I was going to start off with a little bit of history. It was founded in September 16th, 1994, and it was in direct response to the increasing public outcry of games that have excessive violence and sexual content, primarily after the 1993 congressional hearings. Now, on the last episode of our podcast, we talked about how it was mostly Mortal Kombat, but I was actually able to find 2 other games that were directly talked about. I'm sure there were others, but
Was one
Do
of
you-
them the Sega game Night Trap?
yes, that was one
I
of them.
know that game, and that is an interesting story because Night Trap, if none of this happens, does not get remembered as it does because Night Trap was just
Mhm.
not a good game, but because of all of this, people still remember that game.
Mhm.
And then you look back at the
Yes.
game and you go, "Oh my god, what have we done?"
It was all full motion video.
Mm-hmm.
It was bad. Also, the premise was very sketchy. It was about a bunch of women, I believe, in a house that was
The Slumber Party, wasn't it?
And you're part of this organization that has to protect the girls. And for some reason, the Congress had thought that you are the ones trying to hurt the girls when that's not the case.
Wow.
I mean, I know part of it was also just the way you were eavesdropping on them and
Yeah,
being
kinda
able
creepy.
to see into like it was very peeping Tom-esque and very not fun. But
And
do
the
you know
acting was terrible.
the acting? I mean, most of the full motion acting was just super bad. If you've seen any of it, it's not what it should be.
All right,
Okay,
so
it
that
was
was
meant to be.
one. What was the other? I'm dying to know.
Was it Manhunt or no?
That didn't come
No.
out till the 2000s.
Oh, they did?
Yeah, that came out during the PlayStation 2 era.
Gotcha. What was it?
Doom.
Oh,
The
Doom.
original.
Doom.
How did I not figure that out?
satanic
Yeah,
panic and
that makes a
everything.
whole lot of sense. That does make a whole lot of
Mhm.
sense because you're literally fighting creatures of hell. That's
Yep.
literally what you're doing. You're fighting creatures of hell. I mean, it's demonic figures. It's a lot of blood. Yeah, it makes a whole lot of sense. Yeah, so that makes a whole lot of sense. And I feel like an
Doom
idiot for not
Slayer.
thinking about that.
I'm surprised that I didn't think about it either. But
Maybe because just nowadays Doom just looks like a what's the word I'm looking for? Silly?
so, yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, because the gore nowadays is just like, oh, it's funny. It's not
Yeah.
really like scary anymore.
Well, I
Yeah,
mean, you go
I think-
back. I mean, that game
Yeah.
is almost 30 years old. I mean, you go back and you
Mhm.
look at games from that time, and it's like, why were people so upset about this? I mean, you go back and look at the original Mortal Kombat, you can go, why was this such a big deal? But you got to remember, during that time, that's about as realistic as these games can be.
Mm-hmm.
On top of that, because there was no ESRB and there was no warnings in general, other than if parents looked at the games first, they might have bought it for their children.
Mm-hmm.
I realize it was. I mean,
Yeah, and
more it's Mortal Kombat. You should be able to figure that part out. But apparently a lot of parents haven't figured that out because even now with the ESRB, which is what I want to talk about is parents, you should know what that is. Please, if you game and your children do game, You should know if you would not let a rated R movie, you should not be handing them a rated M game.
Yeah, it's that simple.
And
I mean,
it's that
it's
simple.
the same
It's
thing
literally-
as the movie ratings. That's literally what it is. It's the same thing as the movie ratings. You got to pay attention to that. You really do.
Mhm.
And some people don't.
A lot of people don't, because when I like at work at our job, I've talked to, you know, the other and the other women, and a lot of them have been complaining about, you know, all these games with all this violence, and I'm like, well, are you checking the ratings? And they're like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, you know, it's that little box, like, you know, when you check movies. And they're like, I had no idea. And I'm like, you gotta, with all of the advertising for, I know that they've put out PSAs before. I haven't actually seen one recently. So maybe that's something that they need to bring back, is double check your rating systems, because I'm also getting very frustrated with the video games make children violent.
Oh yeah, especially.
Oh my God, that has been proven false so many times. I can't believe people still believe that. I mean,
Especially with Grand Theft Auto. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
I think part of it is, in fact, that just because parents aren't paying enough attention, or are saying, hey, this game isn't that violent all of the time, it's okay if my kids watch me play. Or like, I'm very conscious of when my little brother is around. He is 14 years younger than I am, so I make sure that if I'm doing something video game wise, that I'm telling him, hey, don't come in right now, because our apartments are separated. Give me like 5 minutes, or hey, let me pause this. Because you do have to recognize that even small exposures can, you know, not like twist their way of thinking, but they're going to act out what they see regardless, unless you put these barriers in front of them. And also, because children develop at a different rate to, you know, adults, they might not recognize or realize that this is fake and this is pretend. So you need to be conscious of that as well. The good news is that as of 2013, there is an 87% compliance of video game retailers telling adults when their children are trying to buy games above their level or above their maturity level, and they will flat out refuse to sell games to children that are trying to buy mature games.
That's good.
yeah.
So that's very nice. I believe they said that it was the highest, or one of the highest compliance ratings for FTC guidelines.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
And we get into the rating system in general. It's what is it? Young children, E for everyone, E10 plus, teen, mature, and adults only. And
Yes.
the adults only rating, that does not happen that often. I think it's less than 30 games have gotten that.
I know one game that got adults only. It's this
Which one?
game called, it's on Steam. It's called Hatred.
Oh God. I've
And
heard of
then-
that game.
You go around and you just, GTA is different, but this game, the
You
sole
literally go
premise is
around
just
and
going
you-
around killing people.
Yeah.
A
Yeah.
mass
Yeah.
genocide. So that's the only game that I know of that has an A rating on it.
I know one that got canceled. It was supposed to come out for the PlayStation, the original PlayStation. It's called Thrill Kill. It's pretty much about these people that are the worst of the worst in hell, and this goddess decides to bring them all back and have them fight to the death until one is remaining, and that one person that remains can go back to Earth and keep doing the things that got them in hell in the first place. So yeah, that was fun, and it did not get released. Yeah, I've seen
Yeah,
gameplay of it.
I heard about it's a game that's like Mortal Kombat a little bit.
You're talking about Thrill Kill?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen gameplay of it, and nowadays it's not that bad. But back then, yeah, it makes a lot of sense that it got the adults only.
Definitely.
Okay, what else did you want to talk about?
I don't know.
Well, I want to tell you this. I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again. If this rating system doesn't exist, and this rating system gets a lot of hate, it does. It gets a lot more hate than it probably should. But if it doesn't exist, we don't get some fantastic video games out of it. I am willing to believe that The Last of Us does not get made. Ghost does not get made. Gears does not get made. Maybe
Especially
Halo
Gears.
does not get
Oh
made.
my god.
I mean, if it didn't have a system, I could see a lot of the mature or even like rated T for teen games not getting made anymore just because they don't want the backlash for it.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
also, don't try and play the system and get a lower rating. Like, know what your game is supposed to be, it towards that specific audience.
Yeah, and
Because
that's
there are going to be shady people out there.
and that's really what this rating system brought. It brought a new way to market games, because now you can market a specific game towards a specific audience. Like if it's Spyro the Dragon, everybody can play it. It's a game that's probably made more towards the younger audience that is playing games for the first time, but also towards those older gamers that really like 3D platformers. And it's just another 3D
Definitely.
platformer. And then you get a game like Gears that is definitely going to be towards adults, because it's all about fighting and
War, actually.
Huh?
It's like a war game, so
yeah.
And then
Yeah,
there's
you're
the
fighting
games
an
in
alien.
between,
What
like
is it? You're
Monster
fighting an
Hunter
alien
or-
race or something. I can't remember what you're doing.
it's
in
an
that game.
underground species.
That's right. That's what it is. I don't play Gears, so I couldn't remember. But and then there are those games that you can market towards teens, like a Destiny game that's rated T
like
for
Monster
teens.
Hunter.
Monster
Mhm.
Hunter.
Yep.
And even the original Ratchet and Clank series that was rated T for teens.
Jack and Daxter was too, wasn't it?
You might be right about that.
Because I know it's definitely more mature than an E for everyone,
Yeah.
but I don't think it's mature enough for an M.
No, it's
And
not
that's
mature
another
enough
thing. Know your teen's maturity level. Are they going to be okay with an M for mature game? Are they going to be okay with that? Like, you should know your kids.
Yeah, I got a question. When did you guys play your first M-rated game? When was your first M-rated game?
I
I
think I was
can't
15.
remember the age, but I know I played it on the Xbox, the OG Xbox.
It was, I think, the God of War. Which one?
What did you say?
I think that my first rated M game was God of War, PlayStation 2. My uncle gave it to me. I know I was in high school. I think I was like 14, 15, 16, somewhere in there.
Okay, me, it was Assassin's Creed. I think I was like 16 or 17. That was my first M-rated game.
Oh, I was younger. I played this game called, I didn't really play it. Oh, I touched the controller and played a little bit of it. I was probably like 10. It was a game called Hunter the Reckoning, and it was on Xbox. And it had blood and guts and all this good stuff that I... But yeah, I'm gonna say around like probably 10-ish. I played that.
Okay.
Do you think you were ready for it?
Yeah, it wasn't that bad.
Yeah, sometimes that M rating is just a precaution because, I mean, a game like Halo, I don't play Halo, but from what I've heard, it's not as bad as some other games that are rated M. That's what I've heard. I mean, Sir Meliodas, you can fill me in on
Is
that.
Halo rated M?
I'm pretty sure it's rated M.
Maybe because of Katana, because you could classify her as kind of nude. But other than that, Halo should be T for teen, to be honest. I don't think it should be rated M.
I'm pretty sure I heard that it's
I
rated
mean,
M.
I think it's rated M. I'm saying,
Yeah.
I think it's because of Cortana, because the way her body is, and like,
Yeah.
other than that, there's nothing really in there to make it M for mature besides Cortana. I could think of. I could be completely wrong. I haven't played Halo in forever, but other than that,
I know Halo 3 is definitely rated M.
yeah, because
yeah.
Halo 3, because that's the most you see of Cortana in Halo 3. Other than that, I think it should be T for teen.
I was about
Yeah,
to say,
I
it looks
think
like
you
this one
need to
is
look
tamer
at why a
over-
game is rated where it is and determine whether, okay, my child is old enough.
There is a checklist that they have to go through
Yeah.
when
And
they're getting
it tells you
rated.
why it's rated
So-
where it is on the game
Mhm.
itself. So you can always check why it's rated
Mhm.
where it is.
Definitely. Or look at reviews after the game comes out, because a lot
Yeah.
of people are going to be reviewing it and saying, hey, this is what you're expecting. On that note, also, if people are telling you to expect something, don't worry when it happens.
Yeah,
You were
that's one
warned.
thing that I get so annoyed at. It's like all you have to do is read reviews, look at the back of the box, and pay attention. That's all you got to do. Don't
was,
get mad because this stuff is in it when you had all these warnings.
Like the Witcher 3, for me, I've had to put that game down multiple times because even though it is mechanically what I very much enjoy in the game, not necessarily because of the rating, but there is a whole lot of sexism in that game, and there is some homophobia in that game, and it's very, I can't deal with that. Like when I'm out in the woods, just me and Geralt, we're just hunting things, it's great, but as soon as I step foot in a city, I'm like, oh wow, y'all suck. Just this
Back in
world.
that time, because you consider back in that time period,
Yeah,
it was terrible back in that time period.
Yeah, it was
He's
definitely
like,
worse.
what? He's back in like what, the 17 or the 1600s?
I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
play The Witcher.
Probably. I know Geralt's old as hell, but
Yeah, it's
considering
definitely
back in that time period, it was a lot
Still-
of stuff going on back then.
yeah, and like I recognize that, and that's why I can't be too mad. But you have to recognize your limits. I have a bit of a thicker skin, so I recognize that it was going to be something that was going to be talked about because it's a fantasy game, and fantasy games always have sexism in them.
Mm-hmm.
But also, I wasn't expecting this level, so every once in a while I have to put it down for a week or two, and then I can pick it back up. But that's your warning for The Witcher 3.
Story good. Stuff
It's
around
still
story
great.
bad.
Yeah.
And you get games
Gameplay-
like that sometimes that are great
Great.
games, but there are some problems with it. And some of it, like The Witcher 3, is just because of the time period that it's based on. And sometimes it's just stupidity on the
devs part.
yeah.
So, final thoughts. Meliodas?
I'm looking forward to all the Resident Evil stuff. Even though I'm sitting out RE8, shame on me. But
Yeah, shame on you.
I haven't
Shame
played.
on you.
I can't do a first person Resident Evil. I'm
Just
sorry.
be glad JoJo's not here. Be glad
He'd be
he's
tearing
not
you
here
apart.
because he would have gone on a 10-minute rant.
Has
on
he
you.
played it? The RE7? It's a good game from what I've seen on videos. I just can't do a first person Resident Evil. But I'm looking forward to the movie and the TV series on Netflix. And I know Dead by Daylight's on Xbox Game Pass. So when the DLC for the Resident Evil game comes onto that, I'll check that out. Hopefully they make Nemesis the killer.
If they don't, then they have the right to be criticized.
Then they drop the ball. Or that or Mr. X, but I prefer Nemesis. It makes more sense. How about you, Diggs Gaming?
I'm going to say this, I'm going to say it again. Without the ESRB, we don't have some great games. And I think with everything that it's done, it's been more positive than negative. And yeah, it does deserve some criticism, but all in all, I think it's been a good thing for gaming. I think it's led the way for more mature games. And I think it's just going to continue. So get used to it. And
Yes, definitely.
from what we talked about, and we talked about this before you came on, Sir Meliodas, hopefully PlayStation starts listening to their fans more often. And hopefully we start getting new games with some older franchises. Mentioned Sly, Jack, Ape Escape, and so many others that are still loved by gamers. And let's just hope that PlayStation does listen.
Well, they did listen. They stopped the cancellation of the online networks for the PS Vita and the PS3. So that's a good start for some.
That's what we talked about before. Yeah, we talked about that before you came on.
Yeah. So
And
that's a good start for them.
If we get a Spyro game reveal soon, I am going to scream at the top of my lungs, and my parents are not going to be happy about that.
All right. For me, ESRB, here to stay. Need some tweaks. Definitely. Read up about it, learn about it, make sure you know your kids' maturity levels because there is some fluidity in there.
Mhm.
Read the backs of the box. Watch them play. Be with them. To talk about guidance hobbies kind of thing. Spyro 4, need to beat the trilogy first of the reignited trilogy.
Oh, I haven't beat it yet.
On that. I haven't beat it either. I'm on the second game. I'm like I think I've almost beaten the second game.
I haven't even beat the first one yet.
Nobody can see me, but I got a disappointed look on my face.
I'm sorry. I have so many other games that I'm playing.
Oh, I bought it
now.
on the Switch, so that's why I haven't, because I barely play my Switch. So maybe
Yeah.
if I bought it on my Xbox, it'd be different.
I actually have it on both the PS4 and the Switch, so
Yeah.
Have you beaten it on both though?
I beat it on the PS4 and I beaten 2 games on the Switch.
Okay, so you're definitely way farther away than me. But yeah, this has been Off Hunting.
We are on
host.
YouTube. We are on Spotify. We are on Anchor. We are on Google Podcasts, and we are on a few more that I cannot think of right now. Please,
that will all be in the description
subscribe,
below.
like, comment. Let us know what you want us to do in a podcast show in the future. I am Diggs Gaming,
KB Hunting.
And it's your boy, Sir Meliodas.
and we will see you guys next time. We are not going to be back next week. We mentioned this. We're going to do this every 2 weeks from now, so we will see you guys in 2 weeks.
See ya.
Ciao.